Air Force wants to use external pylons to arm the B-1B bomber with 31 hypersonic missiles. The configuration would revolutionize the B-1's standoff strike capability. And it would keep the jet relevant as it enters the twilight of its career. A top U.S. Air Force officer has detailed plans to add the AGM-183A air-launched rapid response weapon, as well as the hypersonic air-breathing weapon concept, both of which are hypersonic missiles, to the B-1B Bone bomber's arsenal. He also curiously talked about the potential for these aircraft to carry a conventionally armed version of the future long-range standoff stealthy cruise missile, something Congress effectively canceled last year. U.S. Air Force General Timothy Ray, head of Air Force Global Strike Command, which oversees all of America's bomber fleets, gave an update on future B-1B loadouts in a recent interview with Air Force magazine. Last year, the service highlighted work to expand the bomber's ability to carry hypersonic weapons and other new stores, both internally and externally. This all also comes amid already controversial plans to retire 17 of its 60 remaining bones in the 2021 fiscal year, and has severely scaled back the activities of the fleet as a whole, prohibiting crews from flying at low altitudes and restricting total annual flight hours, which you can read about more in this Past War Zone exclusive. My goal would be to bring on at least a squadron's worth of airplanes modified with external pylons on the B-1 to carry the ARRW air-launched rapid response weapon hypersonic cruise missile, General Ray told Air Force magazine. He added that the service had contemplated several options for integrating the AGM-183A onto the bombers. But we believe the easiest, fastest, and probably most effective in the short term will be to go with the external pylons. At present, B-1 squadron typically has 18 aircraft, according to Air Force magazine. Ray appears to have misspoken in describing ARRW, which is pronounced Arrow, as a cruise missile. The AGM-183A has an unpowered hypersonic boost glide vehicle as its warhead. The weapon's rocket booster lofts that vehicle to an appropriate speed and altitude. After which it then glides down along a level trajectory within the Earth's atmosphere to its target. The weapon's high speed and unpredictable flight path make it difficult for opponents to detect and track, which makes it hard to move critical assets out of the target area, if at all possible, or otherwise take shelter before the strike hits, or even attempt an intercept. Rockwell had designed the bones to carry external stores on up to 8 external hardpoints. The Air Force had also developed special pylons that would have allowed the bombers to carry 2 nuclear-tipped AGM-86B air-launched cruise missiles (ALCM) on each one. Following the end of the Cold War, the B-1Bs lost their nuclear mission and, as a result, the external pylons fell into disuse. Today, the bombers use just one of the hardpoints to carry the AAQ-33 Sniper Advanced Targeting Pod (ATP). It's not clear what other modifications or upgrades the B-1Bs might need to be able to physically carry the AGM-183 is, or how many of these missiles the bombers might be able to carry at once. While we don't know how much the ARRW weighs, we do know that a B-52H Stratofortress bomber carried a prototype during a test last year using one of its heavyweight underwing pylons, which are rated to carry stores in the 5,000-pound class or lighter. The AGM-86B weighs around 3,200 pounds and the B-1B's original pylons were each supposed to carry 2 of them at once. It's also worth noting that the Air Forces is looking to halt work on the hypersonic Conventional Strike Weapon (HCSW) program in its latest budget proposal for the 2021 fiscal year in favor of the AGM-183A, specifically because the latter is smaller. The HCSW missile, which the service planned to designate AGM-182A Hacksaw, has a different hypersonic boost glide vehicle warhead, which is a common design also found on ground and submarine-launched weapons that the U.S. Army and U.S. Navy are working on, respectively. The reason we went with ARRW was not that HCSW was bad, but ARRW is smaller. Will Roper, the Assistant Secretary of the Air Force for Acquisition, Technology, and Logistics, explained in March 2020, "We can carry twice as many on the B-52. And it's possible it could be on the F-15E Strike Eagle. It's in the class to be able to fit on the centerline." General Ray did tell Air Force magazine that some of the B-1s will need significant structural work. But it's unclear if this is directly related to plans to integrate the AGM-183A. The bombers have been flown hard in recent years and their airframes have seen greater than expected wear and tear as a result, which is part of the reason for the halt to low-altitude flight operations, which put additional physical stress on the aircraft. The Air Force is also looking at the B-1B as a potential platform to carry the Hypersonic Air-Breathing Weapon Concept, or HAWC. The Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency (DARPA) has been leading the development of this powered hypersonic cruise missile, though the Air Force Research Laboratory has also been involved. Air Force magazine says that the Bones, using external pylons and common rotary launchers in their internal bomb bays, could potentially carry a mix of up to 31 hypersonic missiles in total. Interestingly, General Ray also raised the possibility of adding a conventionally armed variant of the Long-Range Standoff (LRSO) stealthy cruise missile, which is presently in development, to the B-1B's arsenal in the future. Right now, we're not asking for that based on the prioritization of the nuclear piece. But there's things that could change in the future, he told Air Force magazine. This is curious because Congress specifically eliminated its requirement for a conventional version of the LRSO in the Annual Defense Policy Bill, or National Defense Authorization Act (NDAA), for the 2020 fiscal year, which President Donald Trump signed into law in December 2019.